welcome to a fantastic Sunday night here, but this isn't football. This is Overwatch in the UGC League. I am Adamsmasher alongside my good friend Peripheral once again from Friday, and let me just break this down. We have two of our three top seeds here. Number 2 CC Vortex going up against number 3 High Stakes. Both these teams are 4-1. It looks like they're both going to be well on their way to the playoffs, but knowing these two teams, winning this one would be all the more important to get that better seeding.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like you said, a very high stakes match. I think we're gonna see a lot more comp diversity than in the match we got on Friday, and that's already showing itself now with this sort of poke dive hybrid of the ball composition from, I believe that is High Stakes, whereas CC Vortex running out on the bog standard brawl with the sim teleport to take quick control of the point. Seems as though they will be able to do so. Quite an ambitious boot from Altaria goes in on the wrecking ball, trying to knock one off the map. No kill shall be forthcoming though, and as such, CC Vortex are going to take swift control of the point and establish themselves on it, just hoping to bunker up inside, although Capital going down is going to open up an opportunity for them to engage with the backline, and the DPS of CC Vortex TPing onto the high ground but then coming back to the point is going to enable them to grab control of the point, even with Red Ballax going down. Lesserlight gets a big pick onto Altaria Arc, so right now, as it stands, CC Vortex are in control, and they don't seem like they're letting go anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, indeed. They really got there first, especially with that teleporter from Haikyuu. Really helped them out to get there and to be able to keep themselves alive despite Red going down early. It started with that Capital kill that they had that really started things going, but here's Smugs just getting 2 kills with that focus beam to get things right off of this next battle. But yeah, 2 already down on the side. This could be anybody's game.
3. Yeah, I mean, 3 picks coming out, the duplicate from Smugs onto the Reinhardt coming out, and Altaria Arc's Minefield as well, getting a pick onto Multilite, means that even with the losses that they took, High Stakes are going to be able to rally and regain control of this point. In theory, Lesserlight still stalling for percentage, but Tribdis keeping the Symmetra of CC Vortex off the point means that, at last, High Stakes are going to be able to establish control of the point. Now, we're going to see both sides starting to get ultimates up.
Yeah, ultimates up. We're going to see Car does have the pulse bomb on standby. There's a self-destruct as well. Who knows how much damage that pulse bomb can do, especially if you can stick one there. Oh, Altair's going to get a melee kill on Haikyuu, by the way. And here comes the self-destruct. Let's see what happens.
Oh, the bomb, unlucky. Deputy was perhaps looking to send that through the window, through the chimney, and get a pick with it. Firm gets a lot of value, getting a kill on Smugs. Oh, nearly got the Mercy off the map, too. That could have been big value. Now, with just Altaria lurking on the back of the point, pulling out the Minefield in the hopes of getting picks, Haikyuu will fall, but Multilite will answer back, taking out Tribdis and Capital, meaning that with just Deputy on the point, CC Vortex are going to be able to retake swift control and will now be approaching the 100% mark at quite a rapid pace.
And they got a self-destruct to back themselves up along with the amplification matrix. That could make things a whole lot more dangerous against High Stakes, which all they got for right now are the support ults. But Capital with that nano, that could be a game changer.
Yeah, support ults are going to come out on both sides, I think, in full force. The Nano and the Amplification Matrix, as well as Lesserlight's beat, to help sustain CC Vortex through the onslaught that is certain to be coming at them. The bomb from Sokotoa aims to create space, but none shall be created, and Sokotoa will fall. Capital as well, pulling out the frags, getting 2 picks. The barrage from Smugs isn't able to get much, but Fern and Multilite getting picks of their own, but Charybdis taking out Multilite means that the fight is favoring High Stakes, and with Altaria contributing to clean up the fight, High Stakes are going to be able to clean up this fight.
And that's a good job out of both the supports of Delph and Capital, just utilizing those support ults very carefully, especially Capital getting the Nano on Deputy to get some maximum value of armor there to pretty much help keep the team alive despite having a couple losses there, to be able to flip the point back and at least keep themselves alive in the lighthouse.
Yeah, fast shatter from Malphite, but it won't be able to get anything. Altaria Arc rolling through the backline to actually create a nice pincer maneuver. It will get value with Haikyuu falling, Smugs taking out Fern as well, means that CC Vortex now are quite disjointed, especially with Sokotoa falling, Red Battle Axe soon to follow. Very good job from Altaria and Smugs, really just using their abilities, using the disruption that they have to really just pick apart, split up, and focus down the individual members of CC Vortex.
Yeah, and that minefield, there's like nothing you could do. You either go around and end up meeting some opponents and die, or you can just go through and then pretty much die yourself there.
Lesolite falling is going to be big, as they won't have a lot of the clutch boot potential, and Smugs goes huge, getting 3 with the Rocket Barrage, as well as the Nano invested onto them. Altaria, even with Fern getting 2, Altaria's pick onto Fern means that the pick will come out, or the cap will come out, rather, from high stakes. And from a 99 to 30% scoreline, they are going to cap up this first point.
Oh, give credit to Smugs for just catching Vortex off guard, getting that triple barrage there, but I don't think he was able to do that alone. Delphi and Capital were able to provide a lot of assistance, and I wasn't paying attention whether that was the Nano or Delphi. I think most likely had a damage boost on him as well to really help make their deaths go a whole lot faster, and I'm meaning that from CC Vortex. So now, let's take a look at this. Now, on CC Vortex, I think Haikyuu is going to either get the teleporter out and get the team teleporter there and go back to the Reaper, or we'll keep the Symmetra. Yep, I knew it. It's going to go the Reaper. Mathlet's going to go the Reinhardt, try to get some shatters and stuns there. On the other side, yeah, both are Reapers, and we got Altaria going Winston, and we'll see what Smugs can do with the Sombra.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting matchup between the main tanks where, well, okay. I was going to say, whereas Malphite just wants to run at the other team, Altaria is more survivable, but evidently not in this instance, as Altaria falls rapidly, and Delphi falling as well means that CC Vortex are going to be able to push the space that they have been granted by the picks that they got, and are now just going to advance swiftly and cap and take the first cap of this point.
Yeah, that one kill really did help Vortex in that case, and I just don't think High Stakes wanted to go in there one man short. They're just gonna let him take the point, but you're gonna have to be careful with the Amp Matrix.
Ooh, big shatter from Malphite. Yeah, that's really smart from Malphite there to spot out the opportunity to engage off of the shatter, and now CC Vortex, they're building up ahead of steam. They're building up both DPS ults as well as the sound barrier of Lesolite. But on the other side, Delphi, Smugs, and Capital both have their ults, meaning that there are a variety of ways for High Stakes to take the engage here. And it seems like they're going to be opting for the EMP with Smugs lurking in behind.
And here comes the Coalescence. There it is!
Big EMP. I mean, Fern's already fallen, so a significant window of opportunity for the side of High Stakes. The beat's gonna come out from Lesolite just to offer a bit of sustain, but Delphi will be there to counter in kind. The Death Blossoms from both Reapers come out. Nothing will be found from either of them, although Haikyuu does fall right at the end. And Deputy gets another pick onto Red Battle Axe, meaning that without the healing and without much of the damage for the side of CC Vortex, High Stakes once again later on in the fight, or later on, as CC Vortex have built up more percentage, are going to be able to flip the point. But Fern still has his EMP.
And that EMP could really be a disruptor here in this next team fight. If you can get the supports with that one, that could cause a lot of trouble. You won't let Capital escape. Just like that, the Capital is not going to be able to escape at all. But will he be able to keep the team healed? And 3 out, Mathelite's going to be able to make sure of that.
Yeah, I mean, a stroke of good luck for Malphite and really CC Vortex as a whole, seemingly, as even with the first 2 picks coming out in favor of High Stakes, Malphite goes huge, just runs at the other team as he is wont to do on this Reinhardt. And now, CC Vortex have established some control of this point. That being said, Malphite falls, meaning this is quite a winnable fight. The I thought I heard a sound barrier. I guess not. My ear's playing tricks on me or something. Leslie is close to that, but as they have fallen, Sokotoa takes out Smugs, and now the point flips back to CC Vortex, although a fight is very, very much in progress.
Oh, you should have seen Carb just barely escaped from that self-destruct and was able to get 2 more out of that before falling to Lesolite from that spook there. And now the Earth Shatter is going to end up catching and killing Capital. Lesolite will finish him off. Here comes the self-destruct. There's one, and high stakes cooking. They are really cooking,
on.
Just like a medium steak.
High stakes. For a bit, they were barely holding on, but they seem to have established control of this point. And this right here is where this 6-man composition is at its best, where you can just sort of let the other team run up to you. You can keep giving space. You have the Moira, you have the Lucio to kite and keep your team healed up. You can play the slow fight, play for ultimates, and as you can see, Fern has the ultimate up, but has EMP out, but it didn't really hit anyone. That being said, Haikyuu gets 2, and a big beat from Delphi is going to have to get a lot of value, but everybody on the side of High Stakes has already fallen, barring Delphi and Charybdis. Charybdis already falling, even with the usage of the Death Blossom, means that CC Vortex gonna get the point at 99%, and with overtime ticking down, doesn't seem like anybody from High Stakes is going to be able to touch, so we will be going to a 3rd point.
Yeah, if you're down to like only 2 players, it doesn't really matter whether you have both people getting sound barriered or not. It's just inevitable. You're not gonna win that fight. Your health's just gonna go down, because that's basically like 3 players from Vortex focusing on 1 player each. You're just not gonna win that one. And if they had a little more time, that's probably something Delphi probably would want back. Although, like I said before, it just didn't matter very much, as Vortex is just going to win that round anyway. So now we're seeing a bunch of switch. Delphi looks like going back to the Mercy I see here. And looks like on the other side, it's pretty much going to be the same, except Haikyuu might use the teleporter and then switch on over to a different hero. I don't think so. Yep, Haikyuu is going to go the Reaper. And looks like Stakes doing the same thing with Cars switching over to the Tracer. Smugs now going to Pharah, trying to get some aerial support in. We see a Pharmercy comp coming out of High Stakes. We'll see how good this is. Pharah and Mercy, probably the best duo in Overwatch competitive.
We'll say the comp matchup does significantly favor High Stakes, with the exception of the Sombra being able to sort of shut down the ball. But right now, CC Vortex are playing this really well, just playing around sightlines. Although that being said, Sokotoa does get caught out, loses their mech accordingly, and now it gets kind of dire for CC Vortex, as even with Charybdis falling, High Stakes just have the ability to take so much space and just stretch out the resources and the fight, for making CC Vortex's life very hard. And see, they can just play for the long fight, and once Smugs builds up the rocket barrage, it's really just all over.
Oh, give Smug some credit, being able to land the marks on many different members of Vortex, getting 1 and then able to get 3 quite easily. Like I said, thanks to the help of Delphi, just damage boosting him throughout this entire thing. And you wonder why I think Pharmercy is one of the best duos in Overwatch competitive. Now going into the next fight, you got Valkyrie just about ready, and you got a nano boost that can help as well, versus an amplification matrix for Red and Fern for an EMP.
Yeah, I mean, this Sombra switch is proving to be quite effective, as Altaria Arc falling and the EMP coming out, getting big value, means that Delphi's also got off the map, but the bomb from Deputy has potential to get big value, and the nano from Capital onto Smugs as well. But it seems that they will need it, as Charybdis gets a big pick. Fern does take a Capital, and the pulse bomb from Charybdis gets eaten, so a window of hope for CC Vortex does present itself. But with Lesolite going down, doesn't seem like that window will really amount to anything, as it will just be shot in the face of CC Vortex. And now High Stakes approaching 60% on this 3rd point. And for CC Vortex, you have to wonder if something needs to change now.
Yeah, something might need to change, and you do have the sound barrier on standby, though, which could help out. You got Haikyuu on Cassidy to help try to take down this Pharmercy comp alongside Fern with the Sombra. However, when you got a Minefield that just came out and you got Pharmercy ults, your hopes could be a little dim right here.
Yeah, I mean, the bombs already, or the minefield's already gone value with Matholite falling rapidly, and Smugs again finding the perfect timing to initiate with that rocket barrage, although does pay the price with their life. But the damage has been done for the side of CC Vortex, as even with Charybdis falling, the man advantage, and really just the ability to hold base, the ability to really play the game massively favors high stakes at this point in time. Although that being said, Fern takes out Capital, meaning that a lot of the healing on the side of high stakes is gone. So this fight is really thrown into balance somewhat now, although Smugs is still just lurking in the skies, finding big value. The EMP from Fern gets nothing! Oh, that's gonna come. That may well come back to haunt them. With Delphi falling, it's less likely. Although Sokotoa does lose his mech. Although and now it seems as though for now CC Vortex has stabilized on this point.
Yeah, I know that EMP might be something Fern might want back. Although didn't really matter much as High Q was able to take Delphi out, and that was less healing for High 6, and that really gives Vortex the opportunity to be able to push in and win that team battle, really flip the point their way. And now Carr does have the pulse bomb on standby, so just watch out, along with a nano boost that could prove to be dangerous.
Yeah, this is much more of an even comp matchup, I feel like, as the 6-man kind of does counter this Wrecking Ball composition. Charybdis' pulse gets eaten again! The bomb from Sokotoa doesn't get any value, and the nano onto Altaria, as well as their minefield coming out, is going to force CC Vortex to back away. Altaria is in a really bad position though, hacked, stunned out of their pile drive, and Deputy Boss in a similarly dire straits. The Coalescence and the Sound Barrier from CC Vortex going to get a lot of value, enabling them to have the sustain and the means to push onto the backline of high stakes and take them out. With Capital falling and Matholite getting a second pick onto Smugs, even though Matholite falls, I mean, look at the point percentage for CC Vortex. Will high stakes even be able to touch?
See, yeah, well, we got one already made it there, but you still gotta deal with an EMP from Fern. So even if they try one last-ditch effort, you get all 6 together. You get
a much better EMP.
This is gonna be troubling, and look at this. We're seeing this results right now as we speak. 3 has fallen. Smugs is about to fall, though the duplicate might save him. It's gonna go ahead and duplicate the Winston. Even though hacked already, not gonna be able to use the Primal Rage at all. That's a huge hack for Fern to take Smugs out quickly, and that's pretty much it. CC Vortex takes the map away from high stakes and go up 1-0. Like I said, that was a well-timed, smart hack on Smugs by Fern, which prevented him from being able to go Primal Rage in the first place.
Yeah, a lot of the individual plays from the members of CC Vortex, while they were somewhat quieter in terms of their impact on the kill feed, were really, really smart, I thought. I mean, Sokotoa playing out of their mind, catching every pulse that Charybdis had. At least I think every pulse, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, Fern's EMPs were really good, as well as the engages off of the back of said ultimate. The support ults as well were perfectly timed, and I really think the support lines are going to be the deciding factor in who wins this match right now. Smugs and Fern are, of course, coming up with their own huge plays, but with Voltage coming in place of Charybdis, we could see an extra X factor on the side of high stakes going into Rialto, our next map.
Like I said, it gives them a break. You got Voltage. We see favorite heroes to look out for is more of hit scanners, especially this guy plays Widowmaker. You got the Cassidy there. Sometimes we'll play the Tracer. I'd say look out for those hero picks with Voltage coming in there.
Yeah, I mean, a hero pool like that at this level suggests that Voltage has some very, very high mechanical skill, which obviously a good thing to look out, a good thing to have for in any hit scan, but especially at this elo where team play is at such a high level, mechanics can really start to become the difference in some fights, in some matches, and even over the course of a season. Just like a consistent mechanically solid player can do so much for a team. So it'll be interesting to see on this next map how that presents itself.
Yeah. Rialto. Let's see what's some good comps. Like maybe we can see some hit scanners during like the big open area of the first point, or maybe play pushback comp. Especially one of my favorite things to do when I'm playing on Rialto is I like to play. Well, if I'm on defense, I like to play a hero that can do a boop, like Lucio, of course, or my favorite, a hamster, just pile driving someone down the water is one of my personal favorite things to do. Or if you want to be that guy, just hook someone and just carry them into the water. It's just one of the worst things that can happen to you when you have to go up against a Roadhog.
Yeah, I mean, this first point defensive Rialto, like you said, it's one of those maps where quite a decent bit of tomfoolery is common, whether it be the Lucio, the Wrecking Ball, the Sigma, the Roadhog, just doing a little trolling. So
hey, we gotta have some fun sometimes, even though if it's serious comp, like I said, gotta have some lighten up moments.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think both of these teams are going to adopt some fairly standard compositions. I do think High Stakes is going to pull out this Wrecking Ball composition with Afara, as the long sightlines on this map enable it to function truly to its best, especially into what seems to be a double shield composition on the side of CC Vortex. There we go. My brain was not really kicked into gear for a bit. But, yeah, especially with the ability of, okay, what is this? What?
I think they must have heard us.
High Stakes.
It looks like he's going
High
to
Stakes,
play
what
the
are you doing?
Roadhog.
Okay,
oh my
I
goodness,
think,
Voltage going Widowmaker.
okay,
It's is going.
This is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, this Tracer Sombra dive comp, I really think is actually perfect into the double shield sort of bunkery comp. Especially with Voltage's Widow to provide a bit of poke, the Sombra to disable the Sigma, the off-angling potential of Peel, the Immortality Field of the Baptiste, whatever opportunity may present itself, is very, very good to enable the both the poke capabilities of the Zen and Hanzo, and the dive of the Ball and Tracer, which are all likely going to be playing quite split as this comp is oriented towards doing. Really just like splitting up the attention of the other team. And I mean, we're already seeing Mathlete gets booped down to the low ground. The Immortality Field does get forced out. And now with the backline and Deputy able to walk up and take space, this represents an opportunity for High Stakes. However, with Delphi falling and less peel for Capital being available as a result, they're gonna have to play a little more conservative here. Mathlete drops to the low ground again, is in a bit of a dire position, but nothing's being done about him, and as a result, Haikyuu and Fern are able to capitalize in rapid fashion, getting 2 picks of their own. So now, High Stakes, this hasn't gone to plan at all how they wanted. Now they're just gonna have to retreat and go next.
Yeah, definitely gotta retreat because you gotta amplification matrix on standby, but give it up for Fern and Haikyuu being able to get those 2 quick kills to pretty much force a retreat out of High Stakes, especially one of them being tanks going down. But it didn't help High Stakes at all when Delphi went down very early on, which is less healing, obviously. So Delphi now going to be switching over to the Mercy. Voltage now going for the Tracer, no longer be able to do those pokes at all.
Yeah, Mathlete's playing this really well, just playing corners, making it hard for the for High Stakes to get the space they need to engage, especially with Altaria getting bullied like that, being stunned out of his pile driver. Although Red Battleaxe does fall to the superior poke of Capital's Zenyatta, the Transcendence coming out perhaps to save Altaria is going to enable them to push, but Deputy falls, meaning that there's less peel for the backline of High Stakes. Haikyuu gets 2 massive picks though, and Voltage falls on the side, as does Delphi. Sokotoa going huge again, and now I mean, there's only 3 people for CC Vortex, but what is High Stakes gonna do? They're all dead.
Yeah, I think the best thing they could do is regroup, and it didn't really help Voltage very much that the only thing it was able to get was that supercharger, and
Okay,
that did present Deputy, not Deputy, but Stokatoa an opportunity to be able to make a play of his own and just keep himself alive, and was just able to carry the team on his back, and this is what gives him the graphitic flux.
I mean, yeah, now the ults are coming out in full force for High Stakes. The Valkyrie, the Duplicate, the Gravitic Flux, and picks are coming through as a result. Even with Leslie Light's rally, which was, I will admit, quite late, as a bunch of picks had already come through with High Stakes, the damage and the ability to take base and create disruption is just so overpowering on the side of High Stakes that that CC Vortex, they really can't do anything, and as a result, they will be ceding this first point.
And that's like some good patience out of High Stakes. Like the last team fight before that one, they couldn't do anything about it, and trying to like keep fighting. Instead, they went ahead and retreated. They had to regroup. They had the ults ready, and some of the ults had some good value to it this time around. Deputy having that good value out of the graphitic flux, and that's pretty much what started the rest of that push through that first point. Now we head to the second point. Voltage does have the pulse bomb, but High Q will have to wait a little bit before the bomb comes out.
I mean, yeah, shout out to Altaria Arc on the Wrecking Ball, getting a lot of value, already forcing out the Immortality Field from Red Battle Axe, and as a result, Smug's gonna take out Fern. Another slam onto the high ground gets big value. Leslie Light's disconnected and will be taken out by Voltage's Pulse Bomb. Now the dive has been staged perfectly by High Stakes, and they're just gonna be able to perfectly pick off the backline of CC Vortex, although with Delphi falling, there is some potential for the high ground, or for the tanks of CC Vortex to just hold this high ground, really prevent High Stakes from doing anything. The bomb from Smugs is gonna come out, but Sokatoa and Mathlete have both gotten picks onto Deputy and Smugs. So somehow, some way, the tank line of CC Vortex, seemingly all by their lonesome, has managed to clutch this fight. The bomb from the minefields from Altaria Arc is going to aim to make something happen. Capital's Transcendence as well comes out in response to Sokatoa's Graphitic Flux. Another pulse ball. Actually, that was Haikyuu's Bob, rather. I thought Smugs had built up a second, but it doesn't matter. Haikyuu's gonna get a pick onto Voltage. Altaria Arc is going to fall to Red Battle Axe, showing that he can frag too, even in the face of so much pressure. Fern in the backline getting a sneaky little pulse bomb onto Capital, and as a direct result, I mean, I don't know how they did it, but CC Vortex have somehow managed to win this fight, even as Voltage gets another pick.
They started off there with Delphi fallen, so like we mentioned before, you're not going to get as much healthy as you would have 2 healers, and that's pretty much an opportunity for Vortex to just keep themselves in this fight, even with the litany amount of High Stakes getting on the payload and able to keep this defense going, and had a few good ults there, especially with Fern there earlier.
I mean, it works in theory, but you can just do. Oh, the Pharah here I really like, because it just enables you to further split the attention, split the resources of CC Vortex, and we're already seeing that come into play with Smugs getting 3 picks, Voltage following up to pick up the pieces, and at long last, with just around 15 seconds left on the clock, High Stakes, they are gonna cap this second point and move into the final stage of the map.
Gotta give some credit to High Stakes tenacity. Even when they go down in the previous fight, they find a way to get back up, and they're able to get the pushes they need, and they're continuing that right now after getting a pick on Sokatoa, even though Delphi fell, so they're gonna have to think of something real fast. Fern will fall to Capital after falling Voltage. So this is pretty much a little bit of a window of opportunity here.
Mugs again. Perfect placement of the Rocket Barrage on this corner, able to take out Mathlete and force CC Vortex to back away. The Resurrection will come onto Altaria Arc, enabling some sort of a dive with Voltage and Altaria both being alive. Leslie Light's very split from the rest of the team. The minefield from Altaria Arc going a long way towards creating that disparity in the positioning of Leslie Light versus the rest of their team. Now, with the tank line and Red Battle Axe being relatively isolated, it should be easy pickings for for high stakes. But that being said, Capital falls at the hands of Sokotoa. Even with Smugs and Deputy getting picks, this fight still hangs in the balance, although Altaria is going to get a big pick. Delphi falls, meaning that it's just Deputy to anchor point, and just 30 seconds left on the clock for high stakes, so they will have to anchor, they will have to reset rather, and go for this last fight. Although Voltage gets a big pick, nearly gets the car all the way to the end, but in the end, he too will fall. So, for high stakes, it's really just do or die now. You have 10 seconds. Now the question becomes, can you even really touch?
You can see, it looks like, and I don't think, yeah, he's gonna make it there.
Really,
That little, that grappling call kill on high Q to get things started. And that's gonna really help things out. That's less damage there, and there comes the graphitic flux. Not gonna do much, but the pulse bomb not gonna do much either.
Yeah, I mean, right now it was just Altaria Arc was the only person who was really able to take space and touch the point, just by virtue of how much poke the double shield composition of CC Vortex was able to just put down that long sight line, entering into this cathedral, museum, whatever it's called on the third point. I have frankly no idea, but it really just makes the lives of Deputy Boss, of Capital, of Delphi so hard when you have to walk up into so much poke. It makes it just hard to play the game, hard to heal your teammates, and really, as a result, hard for high stakes to win that fight, especially with Delphi falling early, which I feel like through bad luck or bad positioning has been the case for a lot of these fights. So it feels to me like high stakes are gonna have to come up with some way to really just preserve their backline into this poke, make it so their backline can live, so that they can actually play the game the way they want to, take the fights that they want to, and ultimately really just play faster, more confidently, just really start playing first, it feels like.
And first is what they're gonna need here. So now, here we are. We're not gonna see any extra rounds at all. What you need to do if you're in the shoes of Vortex, you just basically have to make it to the end. That's it. You win. This is basically like quick play right now for them. You just have to get through the end and you win. That is pretty much it. So now we're gonna see high stakes taking the high ground this time around, doing the double shield, seeing how well that could do for them on defense.
Yeah, the double shield mirror here is quite interesting, although one key difference that I want to point out is Fern on the Echo sort of opting a little bit into the philosophy of the ball comp that high stakes was running, where you want to divert the attention and the resources of the other team's tanks, of their supports, of their DPS. And I mean, it's not working out too well thus far, with Fern getting a big pick, with Fern being picked rather, Haikyuu as well falling at the hands of Altaria Arc, again displaying this excellent space control of both main tanks, really, where both Mathlete on the last defense and Altaria Arc now are just taking space so aggressively, which you might think is counterintuitive to how you want to play a composition such as this. But in the brawl mirror, when the other team has an Echo and that Echo is also fallen, you have more damage, you have more potential to just run onto the other team and force the brawl fight and not give them the space that they need so desperately. With that being said, now they're just gonna back away, and the window from Red Battle Axe is going to open up the next fight.
Here comes the Dragon Strike, and let's see how much that can do. That's going to do nothing, next to nothing, I should say, because that Immortality Field pretty much kept Vortex alive. Voltage, let's see, there's the 2 kills there, including Mathlete getting taken out of the fight, and that's big, pretty much. That's a lot of health taken out instantly. If you're a tank, you know that you're going to be the most bummed out by being taken down by the Deadeyes, because it doesn't matter how much health you have. You could even have 700. Deadeyes, boom, you're dead instantly there. And now look at this. High Stakes has a supercharger on standby, as well as a graphitic flux, and now Amp Matrix is on standby.
Yeah, I mean, Haikyuu already falling, not great for the side of CC Vortex, as well as the high ground control from High Stakes is absolutely excellent, with both the DPS just having pretty much unrestricted sightlines. Though that being said, Fern is here to contest. And what was that? The supercharger may have played its part, but 3 picks from it are going to open up a big window for CC Vortex to break this hold on from High Stakes. That was ridiculous. My man just went. My man just said, I don't care that you have high ground control. I will 1v2 and I will win. And he did just that.
And that helps when you have a supercharger in play. That damage is going to be going up big time. That's going to help you out to get those kills a lot faster than pretty much high stakes wants to be killed. Here comes another Dragon Strike. They're going to have to be scattered, and Smug's just going to say, oh, you didn't die by my Dragon Strike. Well, take some Storm Arrows and go 6 feet under the ground. Oh, my God.
Oh.
Oh.
That's a really nice flank from him.
He's been eating. How about he's had a very healthy meal before the match today?
I mean, well, just a really, really good flank from Voltage there. Just knowing that that both teams are occupied in this frontline battle, fighting on the cart, and also that the backline of CC Vortex had to play further back as Lesser Light had fallen, just opens that up so effectively. Now, with high ground control being in favor of high stakes very decisively so, this is, I mean, this is a really dire fight for, Deputy Boss, oh no. Well, it seems the Deputy Boss will live, but the way CC Vortex is playing this fight is really interesting. They're just trying to get in the faces of high stakes. It will not work out so well for them though, as Smugs with the help of Capital's Amplification Matrix is going to be able to get the pick on the high Q. Big Dragon Strike to split the team from Smugs, and Mathlite will follow as a result. Capital and Altaria getting picks of their own, as well as Voltage, and Smugs again just going so huge time and time again. Gonna seal the full hold for high stakes. And I mean, we're tied up 1-1. This is gonna be a match.
Oh man, it will be a match indeed. Like, how many times? But before I mention the Hanzo player, I forget the name, of course. Let's take a look at Voltage. Let's look. You mentioned this. This was a fantastic flank. A good healthy meal. Well, here's a healthy meal that gives you 3 kills there. Fern was able to take out Voltage, but let me just say, it was too little, too late. And it was just too much damage was done on that one. And let's go to the other one, those Smugs that was on the Hanzo, I should say. Like, even though he wasn't able to get any kills at all with those Dragon Strikes, it had a lot of value in it because it was able to scatter the members of Vortex, and they were able to just pick them off one at a time.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, Mathlete got split as a direct result of it. And it that really just snowballs, as without your front line and without your Ashe to provide a lot of the poke damage, to provide the dynamite to open up a window of opportunity to really just pour on the utility, pour on the cooldowns and the damage, you really can't do anything, especially with the synergy that those two characters have with the pulled dynamite. Admittedly, in the mid-fight, in the overtime scenario when ults are starting to come out, it may not be as useful, but the versatility, the usefulness of those two characters, especially in a comp that focuses on playing around your Orisa as the focal point, is really just a fatal loss to your push. And I mean, from high stakes, the switch up in the pace that they wish to play is really interesting to me, because they played this ball comp previously, and they were playing it really fast, almost like a dive comp, whereas with the Pharah that they were playing, with the Pharah, the Echo, the Hanzo even, you want to play slower with that comp typically, so as to split up the enemy team, wear out their resources, wear them down, and ultimately win the long fight, as well as being able to get your ultimates up. Whereas with the sort of other poke variant, that being the double shield composition, they played it really aggressively, almost like a brawl comp, holding corners, letting their Sig, Hanzo, and Cassidy take the high ground and just hold there, and it worked surprisingly well. So it will be interesting to see, going into our next map, that being Hollywood, how both teams will be able to continue, how CC Vortex will be able to adapt. Perhaps a comp switch up would be part of that, perhaps a playstyle change, maybe even a lineup swap. I don't know if that's on the cards here, as I haven't looked at the lineups, but for high stakes, the question is more so, can you maintain your momentum? Can your DPS keep clutching like they have been? Can you keep pulling out these sort of strategical and pace changes to keep the other team guessing and really just establish the momentum that you have and keep it going, take the lead in this next series?
And I think we did get a sub in. I think Red Battle Axe subbing in for Smudge, or probably my mind's probably playing tricks on me. But before we get into
I
that,
don't think anything changed.
yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, just probably my eyes are playing tricks on me. But anyways, before we get into that, Season 17 of UGC League is being fueled by our good friends at Vite Ramen. Vite Ramen, it is a high-protein noodle that does it all. So, how do we get this Vite Ramen? Just very simple. Head to shop.viteramen.com/discount/UGC. Get your order. Once you're done, make sure you use that code UGC at checkout. And guess what? What does it do for you? It'll save you a good 10% on your order. So anyways, we're going to be heading into Hollywood here. The series is tied up 1 apiece, so we're definitely going to be seeing Temple of Anubis after this one. Last time we were in Hollywood, it was some pretty good times indeed. So who wants to go see a movie? Anybody want to see some movies? Would love to see an Overwatch movie in the future. I saw Spider-Man No Way Home was a good movie.
Oh yeah, Batman. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I need to see that movie. But you want to know what I want to see as a movie in the future? I would love to see an Overwatch movie happen.
It may be on the cards. Well, okay, not quite, but I heard an Overwatch series, like an animated series, might be on the cards. Same thing with Destiny, in fact, which, I mean,
yeah.
honestly, I would love to see a Destiny series. That would be so cool.
Yeah. If Blizzard makes an Overwatch movie, it would really, really, really do well in the box office. Although I'd probably see them split it into like at least 4 movies or something.
Well, there's only ever going to be one that comes out. Because we all know how... Well, at least in this lifetime, because we all know how Blizzard is with these things. And really how the franchise is in general. Yeah,
just make a cinematics movie series. You'll probably do just fine.
I mean, with the quality of that animation, it's certainly possible, but who knows? We may have some cinematic gameplay in this next map. Going into Hollywood, high stakes on the attack first. Gonna be interesting to see what composition they run. I'm expecting some form of a ball composition. Oh, hey, I'm right. The ball Sigma, an interesting composition as it seeks to play more split, but at the same time has the Sigma playing as part of a core with the supports in theory. Okay, this composition makes no sense on the side of high stakes, whereas CC Vortex, I mean, they're just running a typical Orisa Diva bunker comp, which, I mean, I love these comps. Basically, the whole objective is just to play super slow, get ults up, weather the storm, weather anything your opponent can throw at you, because a comp like this, with the high sustain and anti-dive of the Orisa, the Diva, the Brigitte, can do that, as well as the Tracer to shut down the other team's Tracer to not give them the space that they need, as well as the Echo to provide poke, to provide a dive, potential, and as well as just potentially even getting a little bit of a assassination up in this match. But yeah, the switch onto the Orisa comp from high stakes gonna lead to a bit of a slower fight for now, until ults come up on both sides, really, which, I mean, could take a while, could come up instantly. Smug's getting a big pick on the high Q, is gonna open it up for high stakes, as they will be able to start moving on to this point, but instead, they're gonna make a really smart adaptation, just move on to the high ground, and effectively force CC Vortex to cede even more space, now with the DPS and the Sigma of Deputy Boss, moving up in front of this point, just taking more space, taking more angles, if you're CC Vortex, you're really just kind of pigeonholed here, as you can really only bunker up and hope to weather the storm. Hope to get a lucky pick, maybe, with Smugs getting this Dragon Blade, or the Dragon Strike, getting 2 picks, Leslight and Fern, and the rest of the team just collapsing as a direct result. That's a very quick fight, very clean, and yeah, I mean, that's all she wrote. She's high stakes, rather, gonna take the first point.
Oh man, I don't think Vortex even saw Smugs coming or didn't even know he was behind the building at all until it was pretty much too late. Once that Dragon Strike came, I knew right there that 2 members of Vortex was gonna fall, and then pretty much all she wrote there already. A good start. Voltage taking out Ferns, Altaria taking out Mathley. Those are some headshots there. High Q pretty much kills himself in that.
Unlucky.
I think he might have killed himself with that pulse bomb. I think he's probably gonna go switch to a different hero in this one. And no, not really. But so that another good start here. 2 picks already and you're pushing that payload. That's not really needed. But you know what? That's gonna give more altars to high stakes for the next fight, and 2 of them ults are already out as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, the Bob coming out to take high ground control for high stakes is very, very effective. Very well timed as well. As now, with the swap from CC Vortex onto this sort of dive composition, a swap that, I mean, I love it, but I don't know how well it's going to fare when high stakes have this high ground control. Again, another Dragon Strike from Smugs, getting huge value. Leslight and Red Battle Axe not really able to do anything for the backline, but Sokotoa won't need the help as they take out Smugs, although the Resurrection does come through. The self-destruct from Smugs as well, or from Sokotoa, will come out, but it won't get anything, and Sokotoa will fall. Fern takes out Altaria Arc, but the numbers, the healing, and the damage all favor, in no small part, high stakes, with Mathlete coming to the low ground and the Flux coming out from Deputy Boss. The fight is seeming to turn, though. Mathlete getting taking a really smart dive onto the high ground with the assistance of Red Battle Axe's Nano, and CC Vortex, they're gonna stabilize this next fight.
Fern's idea with duplicating the Mercy, because with high Q falling, that does help provide some extra healing to compensate for the lack of extra damage that would have been there with high Q had they been still in the fight. So to keep the team healthy, to be able to win that fight, that was pretty much a huge one. Now Matholite has a Primal Rage. Fern will take out Capital, and Matholite taking out Voltage. Probably gonna hold on to that Primal Rage until a future fight. I think they're gonna go ahead and win that team fight. High Q, unfortunately, is gonna get that Pulse Bomb eaten. Another one eaten by Deputy. How many Pulse Bombs? Oh man, Deputy is feasting on Pulse Bombs for dinner tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you did say Mathlete had the Primal Rage up, but early on in the fight, he didn't need it, just taking a really smart dive onto the backline, just sort of collapsing onto the core of high stakes. And from here, if you're high stakes, you just have to play for control of this high ground. They're doing so effectively, just forcing CC Vortex to back off with the threat of the supercharger and now the amplification matrix. So now, if you're CC Vortex, you really can't make a play for this high ground. You just have to play slow, wait for these ultimates to expire, bide your time, wait for the opportunity. But Fern flies too close to the sun and will be punished accordingly. The Nano onto Mathlete as well is going to come out, hoping to salvage this fight. The Bob from Voltage, though, onto this low ground, meaning that the backline of CC Vortex is so incredibly split from the rest of the team, and the dividends of that will pay off. As Mathlete falls, the rally from Leslight's going to come out, but there's really nothing for them to advance onto, as the core of high stakes is just so solid, so together, really. And it seems as though there's no opportunity, especially with the duplicate onto the Winston from Smugs coming out. Like, if you're CC Vortex, you really can't do anything other than wait, but that waiting has paid off, it seems, in some small part, as Fern and Haikyuu get picks of their own. Fern, another pick onto Capital. The bomb from Deputy comes out, but Smugs, Capital, and Voltage all falling means that CC Vortex somehow, even after they lost so many players, are still going to be able to rescue this fight in what has been a trend for them, it seems like, rescuing these lost fights through some really smart ult investments and some really smart positional play. They're just not letting go of this the second point hold.
No, not at all. Because especially when your supports are still alive, keeping the team healthy, that's a very important thing for them to do. And now Fern gonna go ahead and duplicate the wrecking ball. Probably gonna provide some minefields to pretty much try and get some denial here to try to slow down Sticks from getting to the payload, and almost pays off, but looks like Voltage manages to get there on time. And look at this, that speed to be able to get there. And now this is looking very good for Stakes as they're getting the picks they need. They got the supports taken out, but Matholite using that Primal Rage is gonna try and stall the point to try and do something. Unfortunately, with all 6 members of High Stakes still alive, just doesn't quite work out in his favor. So now here we go, point number 3, Pulse Bomb, self-destruct, and of course my personal favorite, the minefield is going to be on standby to see if we can that some pressure can be applied, or to be able to help get some more progress on this payload.
Yeah, I mean, Altaria Arc's typically been using their minefields to gain space to split the members of CC Vortex. So with another one up on a more enclosed point, it'll be interesting to see how this one works out. Voltage getting a really nice early pick onto Mathlete though, meaning that CC Vortex, now they have no low ground control, really. They have no control of the car, even with Capital and Deputy Boss falling. Well, I guess High Stakes are just gonna back off for now. Sokotoa's bomb will be forced out, but that's just really for playing for a remake. Although now, the mines from Altaria Arc are gonna come out, dropping as the clock drops below 30 seconds. Haikyuu's gonna fall. Now the window presents itself for High Stakes to really open up this fight, really take the dive. A massive EMP from Smugs that catches onto everybody, and Fern will be the first to fall. Sokotoa looking to be next as they're dropping very low, even with the amplification matrix of Red Battle Axe. The kills are just all favoring High Stakes, very dominantly so. The amplification or the immortality field isn't really going to be able to do anything. The rally from Delphi just to consummate the capturing of the 3rd point, and at the final hour, High Stakes, they're going to get it across the finish line, and they're going to seal up this 3rd point.
Although look, you gotta give some credit to Vortex. Like, they've had some good holds, and pretty much they've given themselves a little window of opportunity, able to burn all the clock off, even though they've given up all 3 points. So here's what this could mean. They just need to get to the end. They have themselves a chance. But if they get to across the point with at least a minute left, the worst that could happen to them is they would have to play for a draw. So like I said, that defense could come back to help them out later on, especially given that they've done a great job with burning this clock out, especially at that 2nd point. That's what helped them out with some team fight wins, like you've mentioned. Being able to somehow hang on and win these fights, especially when you have your supports, I think, still alive after getting a few picks that see High Stakes. That's what I'm talking about. So now we're gonna see. Well, this is the first time we're seeing a Zarya happen. We're gonna see some double bubble coming out of Matholite and Sokotoa here.
Yeah, the double bubble composition, I mean, with the Echo, with the value that Fern's been getting as well, I think this is a very smart pick, especially into the sort of slower composition, the double shield with the Tracer that High Stakes seems to be running. I mean, again, the Tracer, it seems at first like an outlier in this composition, where a lot of the characters are more pokier, aiming to play slower, aiming to hold space, but it's actually very effective here, just marking the other team's Tracer, making sure that she really doesn't have the space, the lane control, the pack control to be set up to take a dive. And we're seeing the ramifications of that as Mathlete goes down really, really early, and with both teams really battling for control of this high ground, the numbers do favor High Stakes, and the kill field will reflect that accordingly, as with Battle Axe going down, their high CC Vortex are just going to be forced to retreat.
Hey, remember the whole numbers favoring? I wouldn't say that to Sokotoa, just remember at Rialto, able to somehow turn it around himself after some of the members of Vortex falling there. So sometimes numbers might not be everything, just depends on kind of the situation, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Nano Monkey engage is online for CC Vortex, although Voltage does have the Pulse Bomb to look for a fast engage onto the backline, or will be gaining it soon, as does Capital with the Amplification Matrix. But the Nano Monkey engage is going to come out, and it's going to get a lot of people fairly low, but they will get topped up accordingly. Voltage B takes out Haikyuu. Now he does have the Pulse Bomb online, but Sokotoa just burning down Delphi is going to get big value. So now this fight has somewhat opened up, with Smugs getting very split and falling, but 2 picks on the side of High Stakes are going to throw it right back in the balance, as is another from Capital, and the Amplification Matrix from Capital just seeming to seal the fight. Haikyuu's fighting for his life on point, but nothing will seem to come of it as the clock drops below 2 minutes, or will do soon, and for another fight, High Stakes hold on.
Oh man, yeah, give some credit to Voltage, able to just keep himself alive during that. You saw how close Vortex was to taking that first tick, I should say, and just Voltage was able to get a lot of kills, able to recall just in time to try to keep himself alive long enough to just get more of those kills. And now a reward is no progress made for Vortex, and 4 ults on standby for High Stakes, so Bob could be a pretty good contester in case, never mind, not on the point.
Yeah, I mean, big picks already. Just the Smugs has so much space to work with, just such a good angle on this high ground, and he's not really contested at all in this fight. So Voltage as well, just getting pretty much free reign as the whole team scrambles to deal with the front line that High Stakes has. The Orisa Sig presenting us a solid shield wall almost. Smugs in the backline just free shooting for picks, and Voltage in the backline just Voltage just doing Tracer things, you know, just doing as Tracer does, lurking in the backline, distracting supports, and again Mathlete falls, meaning that with the clock at around 45 seconds for CC Vortex, this is not at all a good situation you want to be in. Like, you do have ults, but so does High Stakes.
And sometimes we have seen this, it doesn't matter how many ults you have, it's all about value of the ults. We see the support ults going off to see what any of the kind of value is, but now the Bob's going to come out, and the Supercharger comes out at the same time as well. That's going to be a Supercharged Bob being behind a shield, and that's going to help keep the Bob alive a little longer. Although Fern will take out Voltage, so that's a start, but the duplication will be gone, and that number is going to be big, and now the Graviton Surge comes out, but now the amplification rate, it's not gonna matter. It's all started with Fern taking out Voltage, and they may pretty much just cruise their way to this first point and take the payload across. I think High Stakes is gonna retreat and resituate what to do on defense.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed as though CC Vortex finally figured out the secret to making their composition work into the Orisa, the bunker of High Stakes, and that being just shutting down Voltage with the Cassidy, letting their Zarya walk up into the core of High Stakes, and we're seeing it again. Sokotoa getting a huge pick onto Delphi, taking the rally offline, and now enabling the high ground control for CC Vortex, as they're going to make good use of it with the high noon of Haikyuu, not getting a kill, but doing so much just to force High Stakes off the high ground. Deputy Boss will lose their mech as well. The rally from Delphi forced out just to keep the rest of the team alive. Look how effective Fern, Sokotoa, and now Mathlete too. Look how effective their ability to take space is. Sokotoa again investing a bit of a yeet of a grab, but I mean, damn if it didn't work. Smugs falls, Voltage falls, even with Sokotoa giving their life for it. Look at the space that CC Vortex has now. Like, High Stakes are just now able to push out their spawn as the cart is over halfway to this second point.
And that space is what they definitely need. That's a lot less pressure for them. They could like keep themselves at a good distance, and now we've got a pulse bomb coming out. Not gonna get anything there, but that Deadeyes proves to be just a scary thing, whether you get kills or not. Meanwhile, Voltage is gonna be doing a lot of work here. So is Mathlete after getting nano boosted. So both sides doing a lot of work. It's just a matter is whose work is going to be the most valuable. And I think Voltage is the one that's getting the most value because
Voltage,
of the
6K
supercharger. Not just the supercharger. I think the graph pull did the trick on that for Voltage to help get the kill. I need to be paying more attention that the supercharger is still on standby, so this may look really good for some high stakes. We might be seeing some more delicious steaks getting cooked on this final team fight. We got a self-destruct almost on standby as well. But Rally, there comes the supercharger, so it's going to be on the high ground. And high ground does send a favor. Wow, the pulse is going to take out High Q. That's going to be a big star. Here comes the self-destruct. Not going to get anything. Fern will take out Capital. Altaria is going to avenge Capital. And Smugs gets taken out by Mathlite. It's still anybody's game.
Oh, Mathlete's going huge.
Yes.
Mathlete putting that big brain to work, getting 3 picks. But Voltage and Deputy there to even it out. Even with Voltage falling, it's literally just a duel between the tank line. But High Q has come back. And it seems as though at the final hour, okay, maybe not. Altaria will fall, but the recontest is still on the cards for high stakes. As this cart, there's a decent bit of room. It seems like they are trying to get it, but there's no mobility on the side of high stakes, and Mathlete pushing up is going to do so much to stop the recontest. Even with Voltage with Voltage touching, Capital and Delphi have already fallen, as does Smugs. And somehow, in a madness of a fight, like I don't know what happened. That was absolute pandemonium, but it seems as though at the final hour, with some swaps onto something more of a 6-man comp, they're gonna do it. I mean, CC Vortex at last is gonna cap the second point, and Capital falls too. That's so bad for high stakes, because now they just pretty much have to let CC Vortex push this cart for far longer than they really want to.
Yeah, that dead eyes you tried to do just didn't work out. Now you lose another support. That's just gonna give some more progress. And there's the self-destruct. And won't get anything. It will destroy the shield. That's less defense. And we're seeing it right now. Fern just takes both of the DPSs of high stakes out of the fight. Although high stakes does have plenty of ults, but what good is being able to use them if you're not able to stay alive during these team fights? So this is pretty much almost last fight territory. Pulse bomb's gonna be used, but not gonna get anything. And Fern saying, "Nuh-uh, you're going to be dying now." Delphi was gonna try to provide some extra armor for this last team fight. Here's the self-destruct. It's gonna get Mathlite. That's gonna be big. As a tank has the most health, and that's pretty huge. That's a majority of health out of there. Fern's gonna lose the duplication. And Delphi, once again, has fallen. It seems Delphi's usually the first one to die in these team fights, as it seems like we've observed during this entire team fight. 1 second left. Can anybody make it? Yes, they can. There's still 4 left alive that can make it to the payload. There's the Coalescence to try to keep this team healthy. But Mathlite will fall thanks to the help from Smugs and help from... Oh man, Altaria is providing a lot of kill assists in this last team fight, and Altaria is going to get a kill of his own on Red Battle. Smugs will take out Lesolite, and there's just pretty much little to nothing you can do if you are on the side of Vortex as you watch Hollywood get taken away by high stakes. So now they're down 1-2 as we head into Temple of Anubis next.
That was possibly the least heart-healthy map I have watched in recent memory. So many of those fights went down to 1 or 2 members of a team being, well, actually like 2 or 3 members of a team being left and clutching it out. But like, really, it seems as though both teams are really starting to grow into these fights, starting to figure out how to play into the other team's compositions. And I mean, this is the kind of high-level Overwatch you love to see in these premier games that you sort of expect at such a high level. But it truly is amazing to see, especially with the absolutely mechanically clutch plays of Fern in particular, Voltage, Smugs, Capital. It is, I mean, even Haikyuu has been coming up big at some points. So really, this is I mean, this has certainly been an entertaining match to watch. I can only hope that it won't conclude on this next map, Anubis, but really, who knows? Like, anything could happen on this last map. It's all to play for, and whoever wins this map, or whoever wins this match, is going to take second seed, move ahead in the standings. So, I mean, yeah, match point, all to play for if you're CC Vortex.
But yeah, let's make a big note here. Voltage has been someone possessed. 50 eliminations in Hollywood alone. And that is pretty much a 63% kill participation for Voltage. And you wonder why Voltage has come up clutch, especially with burning clock out at the first point, even though they weren't able to protect it successfully. But the time melting, that was something Voltage was good at in that map. And now we head to the Temple of Anubis. This map, especially on the second point, tends to favor defense, especially with the spawn point being so close to it. And I've probably mentioned this before, probably one of the reasons why 2CP or assaults being taken out of the competitive scene in Overwatch 2 being replaced with push. Although I could see assault being in the arcades, so there's that we could look forward to. But
I feel like assault as a mode is gonna get reworked. I don't know why.
That's a possibility too.
It'll exist, just not in its current state. Like whether it's under a different name or whatever. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, it's except there's two assault maps that just definitely need reworked, and those are Horizon Lunar Colony, and of course, and it'll return.
Oh my god!
It will return in season 18. So everybody, get ready for some Horizon Lunar Colony. I love being in space. It's one of my favorite maps, but the least favorite map of everyone is Paris, and you definitely would wonder. Definitely big reason why it's not on there. I think it's kind of uneven-sided. It definitely needs some reworking for it to be a good competitive map. We have not seen that in a long time. But yeah, Horizon Lunar Colony making its ultimate return next season. So there's something to look forward to, especially if you want to go out into the outer space area. Oh yeah, the zero gravity. That's a pretty big base physics right there that I would definitely enjoy. Ground control to Major Tom.
Yeah, I mean, here's my hot take. Full Sky is the worst 2CP map. I will let the chat debate. But, I mean, we'll see. Going into Anubis, whenever we do, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I think this map does favor the Orisa Diva comp that High Stakes did like. Yeah, it could be interesting to see how this next map plays out.
So now, it's High Stakes could potentially walk away with a win if they take Temple of Anubis. Otherwise, we will go into a map 5, whether Vortex wins it or if we get a draw. Because, yeah, draw is very, very, very possible, especially if you're on Assault. Because it's the most drawable game mode that there is. It's a little bit more difficult to draw in Hybrid, even though that's possible in the first. And Payloads, very difficult to have a draw. And Controls, of course, impossible to draw. So now, if you had to predict, you said the Diva comp, that's...
The Orisa Diva, yeah.
Yeah, the Orisa Diva comp. I have to agree with you on that. I know you're more of an experienced pro player than I am, and more of a big comp player than I am, my friend.
I do a little bit of I do a little feeding, shall we say? Just a little bit.
Man, just hope you don't get too stranded in this desert, because conditions are very scorching hot. You might want to pack yourself a ton of decently cool water if you're wanting to come here to Egypt.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, maybe I was wrong. I mean, it doesn't seem like CC Vortex are going to be rolling out on the Orisa Diva. Rather, they're favoring the double bubble that brought them so close on Hollywood. And I mean, they once they figured out how to get Sokotoa the opportunities they needed, the space that the opportunity to take the space that they needed and walk up on the other team. They were kind of steamrolling high stakes, I won't lie. So it's very possible that this could see a change in fortunes for them. But again, this ball comp aiming to distract, aiming to displace, aiming to create opportunities for the rest of the team to capitalize off the disruptions the ball can make, gets a lot of value. But Mathlete already gone down. Capital as well, taking out Fern. The ball comp, the displacement that it creates is getting a lot of value. Although questions do have to be asked of Mathlete dropping to the low ground so early there. If with Capital falling, maybe it was the right call. Although Sokotoa gets a pick, but falls accordingly. Haikyuu, though, taking matters into their own hands, getting a pick on Delphi. But all the while, Voltage has been capping this point, and now it sits just over 66%. Just over 2 ticks as well. Fern takes out Smugs on the defense. But Haikyuu has fallen, meaning that this fight's still in the balance. But Capital just poking from the backlines, putting in a lot of work, meaning that unless a pick comes in the very, very near future, or an ultimate comes online, and Haikyuu likely the first for that to be the case with his pulse bomb. Deputy Boss does fall. Haikyuu does have the pulse bomb up, as is Red Battle Axe close to the nano boost. Haikyuu falls, gets the pulse up, but it doesn't get anything. Voltage blows him up with his own pulse. Fern takes out Delphi, and now CC Vortex again showing their tenacity in such tight fights. Capital falls, and I mean, that you really just have to respect the DPS and the supports of CC Vortex at this point with the value that they're getting in clutching out this fight.
Oh yeah, definitely have to. But let's go back. Like Voltage just stepping back on the payload. It made it a little bit of an undecided fight. But there was some health low, and the risk was worth it. Like, because even though they didn't get the first point, they got 2 ticks, and they just don't need as much more out of it. So meanwhile, right now, Altaria will bring out the minefield. So far, nothing seems to work right now, but no need to panic if you're high stakes. Like I said, all you need is a single tick. So 1 team fight win is all you need to pretty much take this over to the second point, which is going to be a lot harder. Meanwhile,
Voltage might cap.
Yeah, no. He didn't cap.
I mean, Red Battle Axe falls, so a lot of the healing on the side of CC Vortex is gone. Haikyuu and Mathlete falling as well makes the lives of CC Vortex very hard, even with Fern getting a huge pick on the Capital, pulling out the minefield. Sokotoa is there, but he won't be able to touch, and neither will Fern. So even as the members of CC Vortex are still alive, they can't really do anything, and as a result, they just have to cede the point. Go next, hope to hold point B.
So like I said before, all they needed was a good team fight win to get that last tick. And going from Voltage getting pretty much 66% by himself, and that pretty much, so in the end, that strategy pretty much works. It pretty much worked, even though it didn't happen all at once. Meanwhile, Fern will take out Smugs with those sticky bombs. So that's a big versatile DPS, pretty much gone out of the fight already. So there's not gonna be much to do, and Voltage is gone. That's both your DPSs out. Yeah, it's basically like I said, that's like going on offense and not having a wide receiver on the field at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed as though going into that fight, high stakes were just a little bit disjointed. I mean, I guess it works if Fern's all up that far. You can just pick him off for free. And now a window of opportunity opens with Altaria Arc's mines being perfectly placed, splitting Sokotoa in the backline as well as the Tracer of CC Vortex away from the rest of the team. And as a result, Mathlete will fall. Haikyuu so split. Sokotoa just lurking on the outer edges of this point, but Capital's Transcendence is going to make sure that everybody barring Altaria is topped up and healthy. Sokotoa, though, even through that damage, even through the healing with the nano onto the full charge, Zarya's gonna take out Delphi. Less like getting a pick onto the deputy boss, and again, even in the face of ults, even in the face of such significant space control on the side of high stakes, CCC Vortex, they will hold strong, and they will not let this fight go instantly.
Not at all, but sadly that they had to give up a tick as a result of that defensive hold. That minefield pretty much did a great job out of Altaria using that to keep them off long enough to get that first tick, and right now 55.8% of progress is pretty much the time to beat if they can't do a full capture here. So right now, the second fight, you do have a rally, you do have a self-destruct that can pretty much disperse the CC Vortex, but now you got Fern that's duplicating the Echo. Here comes the self-destruct. That's gonna catch back
From Deputy Boss.
That's a big one. If I saw one. Minefield comes back out. Delphi's taking out Sokotoa for a ride. And if you're Fern, I would be careful around those mines and gonna fly away from them. There's not much space you could go to, but here comes the Tesla cannon out of Mathlite to try to eliminate those mines. But here comes the progress, and it's getting stopped, managing to get there as Mathlite with that primal rage to stay alive much for a little while longer, and now the primal rage is gone. Red Battle Axe, meanwhile, will have the nano boost. Who will he pick? We'll have to find out, but Fern will get that focus kill on the voltage by Fern.
I mean, yeah, this has been really, really well played from CC Vortex, just sort of letting, sort of playing for the counter dive, letting the high stakes engage onto their backline and just collapsing off of that. Now, what is this support line on the side of high stakes? Voltage has already gone down 4 ults on the side of CC Vortex, but the clock's dropped below 30 minutes. You have no utility to provide for your team if you're the supports of high stakes, because you're running Zen Moira. All you have is Transcendence. Your hope is that you can build up the Coalescence and steamroll through that, but the rally to sustain through that on the side of CC Vortex is in place, and Mathlite and Haikyuu taking such an aggressive dive, getting instant value even with Haikyuu falling. 5 seconds left. Capital has to use his Transcendence just a touch. Nothing more will be done off of that. Deputy Boss has already gone down. Altaria Ark's mines are on point in search of a desperate pick, but none shall be forthcoming. Sokotoa's grab just to make sure nothing happens off of the back of it. The EMP on the side of Smugs comes out, doesn't get anything though. Fern duping the Lucio, whether it be as a bit of BM, whatever it may be, is going to seal the second point hold. That was masterfully played from CC Vortex.
Oh, that dive there to be able to get a couple picks there. That's pretty big there to start this downfall for high stakes. But there's a guarantee there will be no draws. CC Vortex has to win it, or else this series is over. And we have seen some good picks there. Fern with the focus beam on the voltage posed probably the better of the DPSs today. It pretty much shut him down there. Mathlite picking himself back up after having some falls quite a bit of times. You guys see this double bubble, and meanwhile, Mugs, you know Gothix, he loves seeing the Torbjorn out. He and I always get excited when we see the Torbjorn out. Just so much potential this engineer can do, especially when you got a turret you could send out that can pretty much act like an extra DPS.
Yeah, he got the spot. Hey, I mean, yeah, I was right in the end. The Orisa Diva from High Stakes is a thing. It is in play. This is they're very adept on this comp, but so is CC Vortex on their double bubble. Although that being said, this Torbjorn is going to do so much to neutralize the dive potential of CC Vortex's DPS, with the turret being able to act in the mid-fight, just chunk down the Echo Tracer. Big anti onto Voltage, Delphi, and Altaria, gonna force out so much, gonna force out Altaria's Fortify early. The turret's already gone down. Fern doing very well to spot that out. Now, I mean, the backline and the Zarya of CC Vortex is going to walk up. It's going to pay dividends already. Mathlete forcing the dive onto the high ground, onto Voltage. Voltage getting very low. Altaria, Sokatoa again! The wonders of having a Zarya that can actually run at the other team. It's so effective into this composition. And, I mean, we're seeing that as, although it's a temporary stalemate right now, the really high stakes really can't hold any space as things stand. Deputy Boss dropping very, very low, just barely kept up. Altaria arc swapping onto the ball to survive. Just rolling around, trying to make something happen, trying to maybe get a lucky pick off. Nothing shall be forthcoming though. The nano boost onto Mathlete's gonna enable them to take so much space. Voltage takes out Fern. The big from Deputy Boss though, taking out Mathlete and eating Haikyuu's pulse means that somehow high stakes, they're gonna hold for a bit longer. Sokatoa and Capital though, Sokatoa takes out Voltage, Red Battle Axe takes out Capital though. Deputy as well falling means that, again, in one of these fights that just seems to be constantly in flux, CC Vortex triumphs once more.
Oh man, when you have someone who can play a good Zarya, wonder why she's a 3-star hero. It depends on how well timed can you get those mobile shields out.
They're already
them well timed.
They're already going. We've never even seen Reinhardt before, and it's already gone wrong as Altaria's fallen. The Molten Core from Smugs comes out. The Fern already taken out Voltage. The bomb from Deputy Boss is gonna have to go huge, but nothing comes of it. Fern pinning Smugs into the wall as the duplicated Ryan Capital just hanging on to dear life on the high ground, but he can't do anything. Vortex evens up the score, and we're going to a map 5.
How many people saw this coming? That we're gonna see a map 5 between these two teams, number 2 versus number 3. Just unbelievable. Look at Sokatoa. Just some beautiful Zarya gameplay there that we are seeing. And normally we don't see as much of this because of how difficult it is to play as Zarya. 24 high energy kills, and that is out of the 29 eliminations that Sokatoa got. That's gotta be a lot of well-timed placements of shields to be able to pull that one off. So now, this is it. We're not gonna see Nepal at all, as there's no need for OT. So now we're going to everyone's favorite, Lijiang Tower. So here we are. If we get the control center, I probably would expect some symmetric Junkrat play, because Guthix and I have seen that a lot when we've casted a bunch of matches that involved Lijiang Tower, because we see a lot. We both see a lot of Junkrat plays here, and he's all, like I said, like the reason why it's always dangerous in the inside areas, because like you see those grenade launchings just bounce off walls. You don't know what's gonna hit you. Those rip tires just could be pretty good. Like you could like run them up walls and all that, and you don't know if it's gonna hit you until it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, this next match is gonna be... This next map, obviously, gonna be the one to decide it all. But it's gonna be really interesting because I think we're gonna see both teams... This is really just gonna be, I mean, high stakes. I'm expecting to revert to the Wrecking Ball. I'm also expecting them to run a lot of Brawl, which we haven't seen them on in any capacity here. So, it could be really, really interesting.
It could be interesting indeed. So, lots of comps we can think of. I'm kind of predicting some Junkrat play in the control center, but before I continue on that, once again, Season 17 of UGC League is fueled by our friends at Bite Ramen. Bite Ramen. It is the big protein noodle that, yes, it does it all. So how are you gonna get this Bite Ramen? Simple. log into shop.fightramen.com/discount/UGC. Order whatever you would want, and then before you place your order, use the code UGC at checkout. What does that code do? Oh, that's simple. It saves you 10% on your order. And I know a lot of people who think this is pretty good, and I have to take their word for it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never even had ramen, Bite Ramen, but it's ramen. It's gotta be good. Like, the ceiling for ramen is so, or the floor for ramen rather is so high. It's just like with Premier gameplay. Like, these are high SR players. These are players who have previous team experience. Very obviously, they're good mechanically. They have good game sense. They know what they're doing very much so. So, I mean, yeah, this has been a very entertaining series, and this last map, I'm guessing, is gonna be the most entertaining of them all.
So, anyways, as we nearly get ready, this is it. Whoever wins this will hold on to that number 2 seed and go to 5-1. Losing team will fall to 4-2 as we get ready to start this Lijiang Tower. We can see a lot of things happen. Where are we going to start? That's the big question. I know there's the control center, there's the gardens, and there's the last one I forget that. A lot of ways you could pull this off. You could like go on through, or you could try to go around and pull off a flank. But lots of strategies you could do here in this final map. So here we are. We're finally gonna, it's nighttime, so it makes sense. Final map, nighttime, good night. And we're gonna be starting at this one. And like I said, plenty of ways you could go. You could go from the sky, you could go right through, or even go around. Just be careful you don't encounter any players that are using pushback heroes, because that has happened to me a lot, and we could possibly see some pharmacy action here, because that has been a common duo used in Lijiang Tower. So now here we see, yeah, I called it.
A mirror?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, actually, I really like this. The ball comp mirror you very rarely see, because there's always one team opts into this brawl with the Rhine Diva. Sometimes it's a Rhine Monkey, sometimes it's a Rhine Arista, whatever it may be, the Sim Doom, Sim Mei, whatever. The brawl comp is usually what both teams play. But this time around, it's two ball comps, both with Pharah, and perhaps the most important part of this, both with a Zen instead of a Mercy. So the Zen is going to be the dive target for both of these teams, I think, even with the Diva there to provide peel. Both teams are going to be looking to engage onto the other Zenyatta, as it's a very squishy character, you know. A pause has been called, so we will, I guess, have a bit of time to, I don't know. Well, there's not much to talk about right now.
Can we talk about the fact that Overwatch 2 beta's coming in late April? I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be fun. I feel like the betas later down the line are gonna be better. Yeah, I think they're supposed. They said they're gonna do multiple closed betas, so I would assume that to be the case.
Anyways, if the beta, if we get an open beta, I would love to see the UGC utilize, well, not really during the regular season, but maybe some exhibition matches utilizing Overwatch 2 beta. But this is gonna be a possibility, but we will have to see. It's up to the UGC League to decide whether to do that or not. But now the pause is about to be over. Not much happens.
Yeah, there it is. Red Battle Axe fell over instantly. Voltage again going huge on the Tracer, as they've been wont to do on the series. Again, another pick on Ahsoka Toa. Although, I mean, the baby diva. What? Okay, Altaria falls, so now the fight's in favor of I was gonna say the fight's in favor of CC Vortex, but now Lessolite and Ahsoka Toa are down properly. Capital. I mean, what is Capital doing? My boy's flanking by himself. He doesn't need help. Voltage is Capital. I mean, Voltage just took over that fight, and now he's got the pulse bomb almost up, as does Smugs with their rocket barrage. So the DPS ults on the side of high stakes could just create the snowball.
And this is why Voltage has got to be, in my opinion, one of the best DPSs in this fight. And you've seen why he's able to get so many eliminations. Just able to, like, but unfortunately not in this case, but able to flank, able to utilize the blinks really well. Just high Q, just out-tracered Voltage in that fight. Ahsoka Toa just has been a tank to be reckoned with. And so is Madlight. The tank line for CC Vortex has just been absolutely phenomenal. That's like the tight ends doing the most work in receiving yards in an NFL game.
Okay, big barrage from Smugs. The pulse from Haikyuu's gonna take a Capital, but Voltage trades out the Zenyatta on the other team, so this fight's very much in the balance. The Valkyrie as well as the Resurrection from Lessolite coming out. Red Battle Axe will live a bit longer. The bomb from Ahsoka comes out, but it's not gonna get anything. The takes out Altaria Arc, and now Voltage dropping so low, just gonna be forced to back away even with the help of that pulse bomb. Mugs as well dropping low. I mean, Delphi trying to cosplay their inner evil doll, but nothing will come of it. Ahsoka Toa takes out Voltage, and CC Vortex coming out on this ball comp. They haven't even touched it before, and my oh my, does it seem to be paying dividends. Okay, well, not that time. Fern, unlucky, go next, I guess. He did force the Transcendence of Capital, though, so even as high stakes try to walk up, the bomb, or the minefield, and the bomb from Deputy Bucks gets I was gonna say minefield from Mathlite's gonna have big value. It's gonna force out the Transcendence from Red Battle Axe, but as that expires, nothing's fallen, and now Red Battle Axe will be the first to fall after his own Transcendence. Fern as well falling. Mathlite taking out Capital is gonna be so big though, as the Zenyatta both a lot of damage and a lot of healing in this composition. Smugs gets 2! Mathlite and Ahsoka Toa go down. Smugs gets 4! IQ and Lessolite 2! And high stakes. They're just never out of it, it seems. They're back on control of the point, and now look at the ults they have.
Wow. Just wow is all I gotta say. Like I said with Voltage, just does a great job with his flanking and just avoiding all the damage. Although, again, as I say that, Voltage gets taken out this time. Fern with the help of that, and then here comes Smugs able to take out Mathlite with the barrage, and Fern but able to take out the Pharmacy.
Ahsoka Toa's bomb comes out. Fern's already gotten 2 picks though, with Red Battle Axe coming out, falling. English is hard right now. Yeah, never mind. Voltage B is carrying. I don't have to say anything. The point percentages are evening out, and now high stakes soon to surpass, going into what could very well be the last fight of this point. Capital, can I just say, switch onto Lelucio, which, considering how early they were falling on the Zenyatta every fight, is a really smart pick in my mind, because it just makes him so much harder to engage on. Well, okay, never mind. Doesn't really help if he runs at the other team and dies accordingly. Red Battle Axe does fall though, still showcasing the theoretical advantages of comp. Fern there just finishing off every potential opportunity. It's Delphi too! Somebody stop this man! He's so good! IQ does fall. Fern again, that's one, like 4 kills. Somebody check him PC, check him game. This guy is going wild. Red Battle Axe takes out Voltage, and now at the final hour, signs of life from CC Vortex, as they're gonna be able to cap up this point and take it to what, I mean, one way or another, this is gonna be the last fight, I guess.
And that last fight's gonna consist of 4 ultimates. That's both DPS ults. You got the minefield that's about to be unleashed, and you got the Transcendence to keep the team healthy, and self-destruct is about to
no way. I thought Fern was
There's the
Fern
There's
takes
the-
out Smugs again. First pick every fight. This guy just different like that. Voltage takes out Fern though. The rest from Leslie Light comes through. Voltage just take out Leslie Light though. And finally, Deputy Boss comes up huge. Gets 2 picks. Capital of Lucio. Math Light off the map. Call that. So I mean that is one way to frog out. Establish your dominance on the funny frog character. And now the chokehold from high stakes is absolute, as it's just Leslie Light to touch the point. They won't be able to do so. The bomb from Deputy Boss takes him out. Capital gets through, even with Leslie Light pooping Duffy off the map. It's just Math Light to touch the point, and they won't do so as high stakes, even in the face of Fern putting on an absolute clinic on the Echo, is going to be able to cap the first point.
Yeah, I think what they had to do was probably avoid Fern and then go for it. There, I called it. I called it. We got a Junkrat here on the loose. Gonna
on
be
the rat.
on the rat here in the control center. Is Haikyuu gonna stay as the Symmetra? Probably not. That depends. Is it just gonna be teleporting in, or is? Let's see. Smugs on the Doom Fist.
It's possible, all right. It is. The Sim Doom here is actually a strat.
And here we go. Potentially match around point, I should say, for high
Ooh, really
stakes.
Interesting.
They take
One
this.
team playing slower, just waiting for. Okay, where is Smugs here? Where is Smugs? Oh, he's in. Oh, he's in. Altaria's going as well. The lamp from Red Battleaxe comes out. Capital to match. Fern though, just taking out Altaria arc once more. Capital gets Haikyuu though. Voltage going huge, matching his opposite number, saying anything you can do, I can do better, and he does so as Fern falls. Now both teams gonna be jockeying for control at this point, but Mathlight and Red Battleaxe gonna ensure that it's much harder for. Well, I would have said it's much harder for high stakes to take control, but now, with the stakes raised, high stakes, they're comfortable in that environment. Smugs and Voltage going huge, Deputy too, and now they're gonna take control. They're gonna take the first cap. And my oh my, this Doomfist from Smugs is getting so much value.
More value to the fact that, look at this, already 4 ults on standby, and the other 2 are close to getting their ults on standby, and it's only 1 team fight has already gone by, although Red Battleaxe already probably used his ult, but it's gone. Now the amplification matrix is going to be coming out, but here comes the photon barrier that's going to be pretty much making that amplification matrix null and void on this team fight, but here comes...
Voltage, that's huge. The beat from Delphi perfectly timed too. Mathlight does take out his opposite number, but the tire from Fern's gonna come out. It could go huge. It could get nothing. Fern's in such a bad position though. They're being currently dove. I mean, somehow, how did Fern survive all that? That's a wonder. Voltage goes down to the rip. Leslie Light takes out Delphi. The shatter from Mathlight absolutely vital to this fight, and CC Vortex in full control now, even with the lamp from Capital coming out, just the last vestiges of this push. And CC Vortex, they're gonna take the fight.
And they will. That's some great work out of Fern to be able to somehow stay alive and get that 1 kill with the rip tire. I think that was on, I want to say, Voltage, if I recall correctly. The Cassidy, but now Voltage is going to be switching to his big comfort hero, the Tracer.
Really
and
interesting
his
pick.
Tracer has just been a big help.
Big shot from Altaria! It's massive! Voltage in a perfect position to pick up the pieces. Maybe this is what they were thinking of switching to Tracer. It doesn't really work in theory, but I mean, it's theory when your Rhine does that. Absolute madness, but Leslie Light and Fern throwing this fight right back into the balance. Fern's gotten like 3 picks. I don't know how this guy's doing it. This guy's just built different. Somebody stop him. What is this? What is this? CC Vortex just take the point right back even after that. What am I witnessing? My head hurts.
Oh man.
That was criminal.
Yeah. Fern plus playing Junkrat down there equals potentially unstoppable, because Fern has been one of the best DPSs all day, especially if even whether it's an Echo or someone else, you just put him in that position and it's just lights out there. And here comes Haiku's gonna be throwing in a couple sim turrets.
Really good.
near the entrance.
I like this rotation. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I like this rotation. I was gonna say they're gonna
Oh, this is
rotate here.
interesting, actually. The flux comes out from Sokotoa, doesn't get anything though. The charge cancel from both sides, puts both of the Reinhardts on the ground. The wall from Haikyuu comes out. Lesolite boops Smug off the map. Voltage takes out Mapflight, but Fern's already taking out Capital, meaning that no supports. Actually, just Lucio on the side of High Stakes. Fern takes out Altaria, so now the numbers are very, very bad. But Voltage takes out Red Battle Axe, offering a window of hope. Fern again. He gets Voltage B. Now 90% on the table for CC Vortex, and they show no signs of letting go. Though that being said, Altaria Smugs come back. The beat from Delphi offering a window of hope. Deputy Boss's bomb. Smugs would have been so cool if Smugs had gotten that off. But now Delphi's overextended a bit too much, paid the price for it. Altaria are very clutch fire strike. Now both teams grappling for position on the point. Neither team can really do anything though, even with the drained numbers and drained resources of High Stakes. They were holding for a bit, but now here they are. CC Vortex, they're coming back, they're establishing their control on the point. They're going to take it once more to a third map.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
But this is
Okay.
not over yet.
Okay,
We got a
man.
couple
That's
ults
kinda
going.
rude.
We got the Graphitic Flux that's going to be activated. Here comes Smugs going back in there. It's not over just yet, but there's just too much damage going on, and this is going to be going to this. We're going the big distance here, but let's give credit to Fern. Just how much damage has he been doing here as the Junkrat in this particular area of Lijiang Tower? Just a lot here, and taking advantage of Junkrat's advantage in like cramped areas. Like, how are you gonna avoid much of that explosion damage? Just everything coming up exploding now. With that being more outsidey, both Smugs and Fern are gonna be switching over to Sombras to be able to try to get some hacks going, some EMPs. We can remember, let's go back when Fern was able to get a hack, I think on Smugs or
Duplicated
whoever
Primal
was-
Rage, yeah.
yeah, to get that Primal Rage. That was a big hack to prevent what could have been a stall from happening. So here we are in this final
Which is
fight.
already
Haikyuu
down. Haikyuu going huge. How poetic is this, by the way? The full six man with the Winston on the side of High Stakes versus CC Vortex with the Rhine 6-man, sort of Slambulance-esque comp with the Baptiste as well. Smugs on, full wholesale switches coming out, the perfect counter to CC Vortex's comp, the Farah ball composition that we know that that High Stakes loves. The stakes have never been higher.
Good pun.
And we know that's the environment in which they like to function. Sokotoa getting disconnected already. Smugs is just looking to lurk in the backline. Fern, though, looking for an opportunity to engage, potentially take out the Zenyatta of High Stakes, that being Capital. Capital's gotten a bit disconnected from his Diva, so no peel shall be forthcoming, at least not for the immediate future. However, both sides are coming close to ultimates, especially the tank ults on the side of CC's Vortex and Smugs' Barrage, but Capital's already gone down! That's so much damage on the side of High Stakes that's now off the field. Voltage doesn't even have an opening now. He just can't do anything in this scenario. The Pulse Bomb does come through. I don't know how that didn't hit Mathlight, but I guess it didn't. The bomb from Sokotoa gets two! Far Mercy goes down, the shatter from Mathlight comes out, the hammer hits the ground, and so does the backline of High Stakes.
Oh, such a nice work out of Sokotoa, who's been one of the big tanks all day. Give it up, that double kill from that self-destruct was just a big one. Sokotoa, yeah, all these players have done a great job. They've all had their great moments. Sokotoa has got to have some of the best moments ever during this entire fight, but let's see what Deputy has. Not gonna get anything.
This fight now, it's 86% on the board for CC Vortex. Now it's if you're High Stakes, what do? Another perfect mind place from Altaria Arc. EMP from Fern gets 3, including Smugs is Farah, who does have the barrage. Deputy Boss off the map. Sokotoa demech. This fight hangs in the balance, but Smugs and Alteria behind you gets 3! Once more, CC Vortex seemingly pulling a fight out of nowhere, and it could only ever seemingly go one way, with Capital unable to touch the point, and CC Vortex will win the game. It goes all the way, but in the end, CC Vortex, somehow, some way, every fight it seemed they had lost, they somehow pulled it out, whether it was through Fern going huge, Haikyuu making a clutch play right at the end, the support line doing something absolutely massive, Sokotoa getting a clutch pulse eat, a clutch grab, finding the perfect timing to walk on the other team, whatever it may have been. CC Vortex putting on, well, CC Vortex and high stakes, neither team can be understated, both teams near the top of the table, both teams putting on an absolute masterclass, but in the end, CC Vortex will come out ahead.
Oh my goodness, just let's go back to the end of that fight there. I think it was Fern that pulled off the Death Blossom. I forget. Or no, Fern was the Sombra. Haikyuu was the one, I think, who pulled off the Reaper. The unbelievable Death Blossom at the end, when it looked like this match was going to continue. The Death Blossom triple kill was the one that pretty much sealed it for CC Vortex. When we had so many close matches, like how, like you said, whether it was Fern going ham, or it was you have a big individual moment for Vortex, is how they were able to turn these fights around. It's the value of the ults sometimes that's gonna pretty much do that for you. Like, it's value, that's all it takes. So if we had an MVP for this match, I think I have to give it to Fern on this one. He has just been a big asset for this whole entire 5-map match. Like, when things looked dire, when Vortex is about to lose a fight, Fern is always there to pick it up. Whether it's using the Sombra, whether it's getting the clever hack, or bestly using the Junkrat at the control center, or there's just so much things you can list. Always bet on Fern to just be there to have your back.
Yeah, I mean, Fern was, even earlier on in the series where it seemed like CC Vortex, well, okay, earlier on in the series they did win the first map, but throughout the series, Fern was just, even when it seemed like CC Vortex didn't really have any answers to whatever high stakes were doing, Fern was still getting first picks, nearly clutching out fights. It was just, that was just an absolute masterclass on so many heroes, on the Echo, on the Junkrat, on the Sombra, of course. It was, that was truly a joy to watch. Alright, and I mean, here he is, here's the guy, Fern, how you doing?
Hi,
how you feeling?
Really stressed right now, the adrenaline is very pumping.
Yeah.
That's how I'm doing.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, you must be feeling hyped, like, that was an absolutely incredible match. I did want to ask about the, so, the double bubble comp you pulled out on, I think it was Hollywood initially. What was the thought behind the switch to that, where you hadn't really played that comp before, in the match?
It's kind of a one-off comp we have. We don't really play that much double bubble, but we like it on that map on attack in specific, just because we found it really hard to do with, like, double shield or ball. And Monkey is a comfort pick for our main tank, so we figured why not, and so is Azaria for our off tank.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, it definitely seemed like something clicked with that composition. I mean, honestly, I can't really think of any questions. I'm just like, I'm still like, that was such a crazy match. I guess, how, like, after that, like, going into Anubis, what was your mentality? Because, you know, it's kind of, it's do or die. You can secure second place with a win here. Like, what was your, what were you thinking going into that match? Or into that map?
We were thinking it is 0-0 right now. We those are the 2 maps before, Rialto and Hollywood, are both maps we weren't too good at in scrims, but we've been doing pretty good at Lijiang and at Anubis. So as long as we were able to bring it to those 2 maps, we were like, okay, we can win this. So we were still doing pretty good. There was no mental boom or anything, because we understood that, like, you know, we're just not that good at those maps, and it's okay to lose those. We're just we're just making it a little close for everybody.
Understandable. Yeah, the tenacity that in your team was definitely, I think, a key factor in you guys being able to pull out the win. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any more questions.
So there are so many battles that Peripheral and I thought you guys would end up losing, and then we always thought you would end up stepping up big time and pretty much carry this team to a fight victory. Like, you seem to be like a man possessed, whether it's like with the Junkrat or with the Sombra. And we saw the pretty nice smart hack you did there against one of the players there who duplicated as a Winston. That was a pretty smart play to prevent that primal raise from occurring, which helped you guys out, get out of a struggle.
Actually, about that fight, coming into that, we had EMP, and like as soon as they dove, I was like, okay, ready, I'm gonna go. And our main tank told me to wait just a second because they had just rallied. So we were able to like pull back there. If you saw, we pulled back to our choke, and we sustained for just like another 5 seconds, so that when I actually like pulled out the EMP, we like they had no more rallies. We were able to come back in, and that way when the Echo was finally able to dupe once the EMP ran out, she was just alone and she couldn't really do anything. So we had the really easy hack to clean up.
That was the nice thing to do. Always to do that, just to guarantee yourself the victory, and rather than just to play it safe, rather than try to risk and doing it for later. And it really helped you guys in the end. And then later on in Lijiang Tower's control center, when you went Junkrat, you were like unstoppable in there. Like, you being one of the big DPS bruisers of Vortex, plus Junkrat, plus the advantage Junkrat has in like cramped spaces equals, like to say, we can just call you one unstoppable player in that situation.
Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of like a really classic comp, so we've always been playing that. So I'm like super used to like how to play Junkrat into that. Although it is weird playing it against a dive comp. You didn't really see that too much. Or playing it against like, not necessarily a dive comp, but like against
with the Tracer Doom. Yeah, the dive style engage.
So I was playing a little less like frontline heavy and a little more just to spam off angles, see if I could catch either of them off guard, which I was a couple of times able to. But I do want to give a little shout out for a lot of that point to my supports, because there were a lot of times where I'd just be doing something stupid, like I'd just tire and I somehow wouldn't die. Like I don't know how that happened, because there was one tire, I was in it for like 10 seconds trying to figure out someone to kill, and I somehow didn't die, and I came back out and I saw a D.Va bomb in my face and then got a pretty nice shield. So I don't know how any of that happened.
Well, I mean, yeah, congratulations on that, on an absolutely insane victory.
Yeah, that was a crazy match.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations. My voice is gone. Thanks for the interview, and I guess yeah, good luck in the rest of the season. You're in second place now. Got a target on your backs, I guess.
See you guys in grand finals. Smile.
Oh, we'll love to see it.
If you guys see the spice, we'll be there.
We'll be there. Confidence.
Alright, goodbye.
Yep.
And with that all said and done, that's gonna wrap up a great night of UGC action. Hope you all enjoyed this. And Perif, if you have some social medias, where can we follow you?
PeripheralFigure1 on Twitter. If you follow the UGC Twitter, y'all got the sauce already, I'd assume, just by, you know, looking at that, but I will put it in the chat.
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at the Adamsmasher. You can follow me and follow up on whenever I go live on Twitch, which, by the way, if you want to follow me on Twitch, I am at twitch.tv/Adamsmasher93. I do a variety of games. I play Overwatch, I play Halo. My big staple day is on Wednesdays when I'm playing World of Warcraft. So you can catch me there. And hopefully, we can catch you guys again next week for some more awesome UGC action. So for my good friend Peripheral, who was with me in the casting booth, and for Xiuna, our producer, our fantastic producer of the UGC League's Overwatch action, I am Adamsmasher, saying good night, and have a fantastic last 2 hours of your weekend.